Failure is a completely relative concept, which, if you're taking a math test, is completely logical, right? So, why is it that you have the same standards or the same disposition for your own life? Life which is completely subjective and unique to you. No one else is living your life except for you, and no one can take that away from you, actually. We all get down from time to time and question our life and feel things like shame or inadequacy or regret, which is fine. We're humans and it's a part of our nature to question and overthink to some degree. But unfortunately, some people will get stuck in the chronic or habitual mindset of, I don't know what to do and I feel like shit because of it. Or because I feel as though I'm failing and not meeting expectations externally or internally, that I am a failure within myself. I am failing and that's what I am. I give myself that title. I find myself often curious about human nature, particularly when looking or researching the duality of man internally. Why is it so that sometimes the kindest, most gentle people are, not always, but sometimes, very much hard on themselves? Why do they have the expectation of themselves to perform at such a high level all the time? I notice particularly with younger people, and perhaps that is a direct correlation to the naivety that you have when you are younger, or perhaps it's a correlation to not having the life experience if you were older, say. In whichever case, learning how to take your failures and run with it or flow with it is one of the best habitual things that we can embed into our routines. And unfortunately, for the people that are looking for a profound answer about how to view you and yourself and your life and your own existence with such purpose, it's actually really simple, and it's not that profound, prolific, excellent answer. It's your perspective and it's your mindset, and that's really all it is. Younger people particularly will overwhelm themselves with the naivety and the ambitions that they have, all within the faith that they know of the world, that they have time. Unfortunately, time is one of the only resources that we all have in life that is non-refundable. You never get your time back, and that's why, on a side note, always value your time the most. Don't let anyone else use your time. Be absolutely in charge of your own time. As humans, we thrive off of reaping our own rewards. None of us want handouts, and none of us seek handouts. The sense of satisfaction we get comes from an intruistic level of functioning in our brain and our chemicals and our wiring. What I'm saying is, we want to work and earn. Without our working and subsequently earning, our life has very little purpose, and a life without purpose is not a satisfying or happy one. I bring this up because developing an abundance mindset of life is okay even if I feel directionless is not an overnight transition. It's one that takes a lot of growth and a lot of work. Aiming or seeking a life of happiness is not one that you will find fulfillment in. Fulfillment comes, like I said, from a place of earning or working, sorry, and then earning, reaping our benefits, right? But we can't just work anything, we can't just work on a video game and feel satisfied at the end of the day. Purpose is what gives us that satisfaction. So my advice to everyone is to seek your purpose. But in saying that, our purpose is usually not something that we can just manifest, I guess. It's usually something that comes to us organically, and a lot of the time it comes through the vicissitudes of our life. That's why there's so much benefit in hardships, and everyone will have them. They will give you a sense of purpose, and more often than not, statistically speaking, a lot of the people who do work or have passions in some degree, it comes from a place of preventing a hardship that they have once had. If you're passionate towards something and you're expressing that through a job or a project, that means it's a part of your values, it's a part of your characteristics, and that's what makes you you. Living a mindful life of your passion and earning off of that, in any sense, I don't mean financially, earning maybe happiness off of that, because we weren't seeking happiness, but we've gotten it from our mindfulness of this action that correlates with our passion, a value of who we are. There's an amazing quote that I have in my phone, and I look at it regularly, and it says, "A man who works for passion is richer than the man who works for money." And why is that? In the Western world, our ideologies around success are very much embedded and engrossed with finances. To be successful, you need to have a lot of finances. You need to have a good car. You need to have multiple houses. You need to have a lot of women or a lot of men. You need to be a prize that people are seeking. You are have to be sought after in some degree. Now, not to say that that's wrong at all, but it's entirely subjective, and so is success. It absolutely depends on what you value. Some people can work a job they absolutely hate, even and because it's high paying, they stay with it for a long period of time. But maybe that's just because they know what they value, and they know they value financial flexibility. Then that's fine. I know for me personally, I'm really not too fussed about my finances, and I really don't value personally, I really don't value high finances. I like living at my means, and I like having flexibility in my curiosity. By that I mean I like being curious and traveling and challenging myself and having those new opportunities. So obviously to do that, you do need a bit of flexibility with your money. So I live at my means, sometimes a bit below, sometimes a bit above. But my passions of helping people and learning and then passing that knowledge on to younger people particularly, that's something that I really, really resonate with. And I couldn't do my job 60 hours a week if it wasn't that exact job. One of the healthiest things you can do, especially when you are younger, because like I said, it really gets to the people, or that sense of failing. It gets to the people who have a high sense of naivety or even expectations. But balance your ambition with patience. It's okay to have high expectations, and more. I would say to most people, you should absolutely have high standards. I wouldn't say that to most people. I'd say that to everyone actually. Have very high standards and give yourself time. It's okay to be ambitious, but you need to be patient with it, and you need to trust the process of the work you are putting in. If you aren't doing anything, then don't be upset that you aren't reaping the rewards. And if you're working hard, don't be upset because you haven't got the rewards in a week or a month or a year. Trust the process and keep doing it. You need to develop discipline, and you need to develop a mindset of trusting what's to come. You will benefit off of your work. You will. But the doubt of it will kill all the dreams much more than the failure ever will. And remember, everyone's life is completely unique to them. And maybe your path is more difficult because your calling is higher. Not to say you're going to be the person with the massive house and all the money in the world and everyone wants to be you, because that's, once again, just a westernized majority mindset of what success actually is. Compare yourself to you. Your calling right now is higher, and you will get there through the work. And maybe it's a place you never thought you would get to because of where you've come from. And really, only you know the depths of where you've come from. That westernized idea of success is so hard to shake, I feel, too, especially if you're a part of my generation and we're so overly exposed to others' success. It's hard to look at you and who you are and your values and your metrics, I guess. You have to remind yourself, are your values to be famous and have a lot of money and get a lot of adulation and attention, or are they to be, a good person and be true to yourself and live a life of, I guess, passion? Like, that's heaven on earth in some sense, isn't it? Living a life of absolute mindful passion in what you are doing. If you give someone $1 million who has no concept of income or money, then what do they give a shit? It's just paper. I think a lot of us glorify money and having an abundance of it, which is fine. I think money is great, and it helps us live the lifestyles we want to live. But the mission in seeking more money or having enough money every week or every month or every year so you can do what you want to do, I mean, once again, that is a purpose. And if you take away that purpose, then in some senses, you're going to live dissatisfaction. And I think a lot of people have the mindset of Not that they need to stop having this purpose or this mission to gain money, but if they just gained all the money right now, they wouldn't have to worry about it. Everyone wants more money. Everyone wants more success. There's a reason why people who are ridiculously successful financially still work crazy fucking hours. Having a ridiculous amount of money wasn't the goal. It was the reward of working hard. And I think the hard work, like I said, it pays off and it opens doors you just can't see yet. And so how do we develop this? How do we develop this mindset of passion and working hard and reaping our rewards? It comes back to your perspective and really understanding that we can't control the things that happen to us, but we can always control the way we interpret things and how we respond to them too. Perception is key, and there's a certain amount of comfort that comes with certainty. If you feel as though, or if you put the expectation that you are of low quality and you can't be successful to some degree, whatever your success is, you can't be successful and you can't do X, Y, and Z, you're going to get a comfort from that. And we all know that as people, we like comfort. Don't tell yourself a sad, comforting story, because if it was your best friend, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't tell them to have low standards, have low expectations, shoot low, and try sometimes. You would tell them to breathe, be patient, trust the process, and have belief and discipline in your actions. There is no real difference between us, or me and you, and people living dreams or living very successful lives. The main difference is that they found their purpose, they found their mission, and they just worked really fucking hard. Not to say that you aren't working hard, but be curious, seek new things, adventure, challenge yourself, and learn. And maybe by the end of that, your mindset and your perspective will change, and maybe your ideology of your own success had changed by then. And maybe by then you'd be living a life of maybe more in alignment with your values. And I mean, isn't that tranquility? Living a life of alignment. I hope this helped anyone with any predispositions around failing, I guess, or some mindset of success and what we are capable. To each our own. But like I said, aim high, because you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to back yourself. Remember to share this around, tell your friends, tell your family. I would love to reach more people and help and inspire. I had someone message me recently and they gave me the sweetest bit of information, and they said they actually listened to the podcast or they listened to an episode of the podcast, and they were very much motivated by it, and straight away they started working towards something that personally was a passion for them and something they value. And immediately after listening to the podcast, they went hard in on it and started working towards it. And for me, that is just an amazing thing to hear. So I appreciate everyone that's been listening so far, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.